Good morning from the heart of New York City. This is Food School Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast dedicated to wanting to learn and apply to eat better daily. I'm your host, Angela Shurina from Create Yourself That Today, your personal nutritionist, your personal health and wellness coach, your personal fat loss guru, your personal food detective, and just someone with a lot of passion for healthy living, healthy eating, healthy food, diets, nutrition, anything and everything related to food and what we put on our plates and in our mouth. Today, guys, our episode is dedicated to your questions I get from you guys, from my listeners that I absolutely love, and I'm so excited every time I get a letter or an email from someone with some cool question that I can't wait to think about, research, explore, to give you the best answer to help more people like you with the same kind of questions, because these days diet, nutrition got really messy and complicated, and nobody really knows anymore what is healthy diet and what humans are supposed to eat to stay the healthiest, the fittest, and avoid all the degenerative diseases and any kind of diseases or fatigue or health problems. So let's dig in. First question comes from Jennifer, and she's a listener on my podcast. And she asked me about macros on a keto diet. So on my MyFitnessPal, that is an app that allows you to track your macros, to track your food, to share your food with people on that app. So I share my macros, and my keto macros are different from a lot of people. That is what a lot of people call modified keto, because most of my calories still come from fat. So these days is 55% or somewhere around it. A lot of times it's actually 60 when I drink more bulletproof coffees or eating more dark chocolate. Anyway, and then somewhere around 40% come from protein and 5 or even less from carbs. And compared to classical ketogenic diet, I eat less fat and I eat more protein. And why do I do that? Because I calculated that for my personal needs, and also because I feel the best that way, and the result that I see in the mirror are the best. So I figured I need somewhere around 130-140 grams of protein per day, because I do a lot of weight training, and my goal is to be the leanest with the least amount of fat for my body, because I do a lot of photo shoots, I do compete from time to time, or just do some events where I need to be the leanest, and a lot of invitations or jobs come with no upfront preparation period, so I have to be six-pack ready all the time. So that's why this is my goal, and that's why my macros reflect that. But in general, you want to be sure that you consume the amount of protein, absolute versus percentage, that supports lean body mass that you have. So the more lean body mass you have in weight, the more grams of protein you need per day, and the more weight training you do, of course, the more protein you need. So again, because I train every single day, and because I like to maintain really lean body mass, I consume quite a lot of protein compared to classical ketogenic diet. But still, my diet is high fat. 55% of my calories come from fat, and very low to non-existent carbs that usually come from some fiber or minimum amount of carbs from 100% dark chocolate, or even some animal foods like mussels, for example, that do have some carbohydrates in them. So Jennifer asked me, should she change her macros to something like my macros, or should she stick to what she's been doing, that is more of a classical keto macros: 75% fat, 22% protein, and 3% carbs, that are pretty good macros too. And I told Jennifer that as long as everything works for her, meaning she's satisfied with her body composition, she is satisfied with her health and how much energy she has on a daily basis, as long as she feels good, there is no need to change anything about her diet at all. If it's not broken, don't fix it. But if there is an issue and, for example, your diet that you're following right now doesn't allow you to reach the goals that you have, be that some health or performance or mental clarity or energy or the amount of fat that you carry on your body, anything, then you need to look into changing something about your diet. And it doesn't necessarily have to be macros. No, not everyone needs to be on a keto diet. And, it can be something related to vitamins and minerals you consume, the time of the day you eat your food, the amount of foods or particular macronutrients that you eat. So there are a lot of things that you can modify about your diet even without changing macros. But again, if it's not broken, why would you fix it? If you enjoy your diet and it totally works for you and everything checks out, don't change it. Just leave it like that. Because also diet is a very personal thing. So what works for me might not at all work for anyone else. That being said, guys, I also want you to understand that purpose of ketogenic diet is not to be constantly in ketosis. That is not the purpose of ketogenic diet. The purpose of ketogenic diet is to give you the ability, to give your body the ability, metabolic flexibility. Meaning you can switch between burning carbohydrates and burning fat easily without any kind of flu or any kind of painful experiences. And your blood sugar needs to be maintained and stable at all times. And that's what being on keto or in ketosis gives you at first, basically making your body more flexible, more adaptable to different fuel sources that you might be consuming. And then most of actually keto people who are on ketogenic diet, been on like a couple of decades, they recommend something like cyclical ketogenic diet, when you consume moderate amount of carbohydrates that suit your lifestyle, and then maybe some days you consume more carbohydrates than usual to maybe boost your immune system on your athletic performance, or to recover, or to give your body additional carbohydrates, additional energy to fix whatever needs to be fixed, or to allow to do whatever your body needs to do, because we still don't really know what works best for our bodies. So for example, if like all of a sudden you crave some more healthy whole foods with more carbohydrates, like maybe sweet potato, there is nothing wrong about that. And again, the main purpose of keto diet, of low carb diet, is to make you metabolically flexible, so you can burn fats, your own fats, you can burn carbs when you have them, and your blood sugar is stable all the time without any fast and rapid blood sugar spikes that affects your health the most, your blood sugar levels. So that's the answer to Jennifer's question about macros. Again, macros should be always designed for your lifestyle, your genetics, your metabolism, your lifestyle, your age. Basically, you should design your meal plan and your macros and your nutrition individually and according to your goals. And if it's not broken, don't fix it. If everything works, why would you want to fix it? Okay, the next question comes from Quora. How do I get rid of stress belly? And finally, the question that is asked in the right form. People usually ask me, how do I get rid of belly fat? But stress belly is the more correct form of this question, because belly fat and fat around your internal organs is mostly, yes, it's stress fat, and stress not necessarily in response to your psychological stress or stress in your life, at work, anywhere, but stress that you put on yourself with your unhealthy lifestyle. Might be putting on yourself with poor sleep habits or poor eating habits or not enough activity. A lot of things might add stress to your life, not only on psychological level, but also on physiological level. And in order to start getting rid of the problem, you need to start manage all kinds of stress. You gotta, first of all, start sleeping better, because sleep is a huge thing when it comes to stress management. And that basically means no TV or screen time at least an hour before bed. So that means no phones, no social media, read a book or take a bath, listen to the music, talk to your friends or loved ones. Avoid blue lights after dark, because that prevents the production of melatonin that makes you sleep. Sleep in a totally dark and cool, somewhere around 18 degrees Celsius room. Meditate, take shower before bed, that helps to fall asleep. Have a regular sleep schedule, going to bed ideally around 9-10 p.m., getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep, and no caffeine after 3 p.m. And of course, no alcohol also. For me, alcohol is not a thing at all, so sometimes I forget to mention it, but alcohol is a huge thing when it comes to health and sleep quality. So avoid alcohol as much as possible, except for maybe rare special occasions. Your health is more important than some social gathering at the end of the day that's gonna give you bad night of sleep, night of bad quality sleep, and that will compromise your performance for the next day and maybe more. Okay, so another thing is diet. So change your diet to whole foods, unprocessed foods, no artificial ingredients, organic food diet. That's first and foremost. Then avoid allergy-causing foods like grains, beans, dairy, soy. I'm not saying for your whole life, but to start curing the problem of stress, belly fat, you need to avoid certain things called turkey for at least a month. Limit your carbohydrates to non-starchy vegetables, maybe some, potatoes sometimes, maybe some fruit, some whole fresh food sometimes, but limit your carbohydrates. And then meditate again, because meditation really helps to manage your stress and be more peaceful, and helps you to make better choices when it comes to lifestyle. And be active, of course. And it doesn't mean to exercise necessarily, although weight training has a lot of mental and physical benefits. But just be active, walk more, walk everywhere. And take the stairs instead of elevators, park further, play with your kids or loved ones or friends, just move. And if you're working at a computer sitting most of the day, then get up every 30 minutes to interrupt your sitting activity. That will help a lot with sitting and inactive lifestyle problem. So that my answer to how to get rid of stress belly question. So again, that's the right question. Stress belly, not just belly fat. The next question is, how do I transition off keto to a low carb diet? And this question is kind of funny, because keto diet is a type of low carb diet. Ketogenic diet is a diet with extremely low carb, more fat, and moderate amount of protein, but it's still a low carb diet. So when somebody asks me a question like that, I'm like, so what do you mean exactly by low carb diet, and what do you mean by keto diet, and what that transition means to you? And then I can really answer the question how is best to transition from one diet to another. But in any case, any transition is taken the best gradually, step by step, not from 1 point to 180 degrees, another thing. You got to do it step by step if you want to avoid radical and negative effects when it comes to your health, body composition, or just your energy levels and feeling from, day to day. The next question is about carbs, of course. Should athletes avoid carbs? And this is also kind of like a funny question. Carbs are not evil. Nobody should be trying to avoid them. Your non-starchy vegetables are carbs also. And even some animal products have carbohydrates, like mussels or oysters, for example. Avoiding carbs is not necessarily the best thing for everyone to do. Having low carbohydrate diets. Some people do better on kind of like moderate carbohydrate diet. If you build your carbohydrate consumption around your workouts, it actually can help with your performance. If somebody is trying to be keto adapted and being able to burn fats for fuel during workouts when carbs are not available, then you have to go through periods of very, very little carbs if you want to force your body to learn how to use fat for fuel. But avoiding carbs is not necessary for any athletes. Avoiding processed sugars, processed crap, and processed food and processed grains, yes, that might be necessary if you want to be a healthy athlete. And you definitely do not do crazy carb loading for athletic performance. But avoiding carbs is not necessary either. A lot of athletes consume healthy carbohydrates around their workouts and never have problems with their health or metabolism. So again, carbs are not evil. It's not necessary for everyone to be on a low carb diet. Actually, some people do better on a moderate amount of carbohydrates. So again, carbs are not poison. Just make sure that you understand your needs and also experiment to figure out what works best for you. And that's it about carbs. If you have any questions about carb consumption, also shoot me email to angela@createyourself.today, by the way. The next question is, what can I eat that is low fat, low carb, and high in protein? Sometimes, guys, when you're on a low carb diet, on any kind of diet, sometimes you need to be able to tweak your macros and add some more protein on some more fat or some more carbohydrates, and in that but nothing else. And in that case, you need to find whole foods that are the closest to that nutritional profile. So for example, for myself, if I eat enough fat and enough carbs for the day, and I just need to add a little bit more protein for my lean body gains, then I might eat high protein foods that have basically nothing but protein. And those foods are, of course, chicken breast, livers, and hearts also have very little fat in chickens and any animal, but in chickens especially. Then you want to have some low-fat seafood like crabs or clams or fish like cod, flounder, sole, haddock, hake, lobster, mahi-mahi, pollock, scallops, and of course shrimp and tuna are almost entirely protein. I call them chicken breast of the sea. And then you might have some leaner cuts of beef and wild game like bison, for example. And of course, turkey is also a very lean meat, and egg whites. So that's how you add more protein from whole foods when you need to. But I do not recommend consuming most of your calories from protein. That actually can lead to protein poisoning, and you'll be really, really low on energy if you don't consume enough fat or carbs for energy. So basically, you need to consume just enough protein to satisfy your needs, but your energy should come from either fat or carbohydrates. Okay, and that's about it for today, guys. Questions answered. So if you have any questions you want me to research, to talk more about on this podcast, either go to Quora, Angela Shurina, that's how you find me there, or shoot me an email to angela@createyourself.today. I always accept questions there, and I absolutely love researching different answers, especially if it's something that I don't talk about often for one reason or the other. So shoot me email to angela@createyourself.today. Thank you guys for listening. Share this podcast so more people learn more nutritional wisdom and learn how to eat better and reach their goals through nutrition and healthier lifestyle. Rate this podcast on iTunes so more people find this podcast. And thank you again for listening. Really love and appreciate all of you and love your emails and feedback. Thank you. And till next time, eat better daily.